Truly friends. I enjoy working with every single one of you. I know that we often have the occasion of, and I appreciate you allowing me to speak to each of your councils as I travel throughout the 10th Congressional District. But this is the first time that I've had a chance to speak to the Stanislaus Board, so thanks for having me today. Before I start with my remarks, let me give a quick shout out to my alma mater, Cal Poly. I know Vito and Bill are both alum as well. I'm sure there are many other alums here, but having Cal Poly in the tournament for the first time in our school's history, just winning a big game a few minutes ago, we're pretty excited about our California team. So, I just wanted to give a few brief remarks today about some of our infrastructure needs. As you know, I asked to serve on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee when I first went into Congress. Initially sitting on the Committee for Economic Development, Emergency Management, FEMA, where we not only passed the FEMA bill this year, but also dealt with a lot of the properties that I've been trying to sell across the nation, and now currently chair the Rail, Pipelines, and Hazardous Materials Committee. On that committee, obviously, we have a lot of needs here locally and certainly across the nation. So we're looking at different ways that we can expand our rail access, get more freight, and get more people moving throughout our areas as well as the rest of the nation. But let me backtrack real quickly. I want to just first start and touch on MAP 21 reauthorization. We have the funding for the highway bridge program. I often talk about the 7th Street Bridge as one of those bridges that is not only in desperate need of repair, but one of those bridges across the nation where we don't allow school buses to go on anymore because of the challenges that we have with it. We need the funding. We need to make sure that bridges like that are getting the infrastructure dollars and improvements that are sorely needed. As well, we need to streamline the project delivery. We passed that in MAP 21 so that we can actually get projects done much quicker. And then preserving the existing metropolitan planning organization size. California's 10th district is a rural area, and maintaining the present MPO designation for communities smaller than 200,000 people was something important that we wanted to put in there so that our rural communities don't get left behind. Ultimately, I very strongly believe that we just need more money for California. We need to keep the money that we send to Washington, D.C. We're a donor state, we continue to be a donor state. In this last highway bill, we were able to position California to keep much more, about 40% more of the money that we normally give to the federal government. Unfortunately, the overall bill did not make it out of the Senate, so we ended up with the extension. But my goal is to continue to fight to get our California dollars. Hey, it's our gas tax dollars, it's our cars that are on the roads. We ought to have our money staying here in California, fixing our bridges and infrastructure. As chair of the Rail Committee, I'm looking at opportunities where we can expand into our community as well as other areas where we have rail that's very efficient. And I'm proud of the work that we've done with ACE Train. I have ridden that thing many times. I've had town halls on it. I've talked to the people as they ride it. It is amazing the customer satisfaction that they provide, and I'm looking forward to having that extend further into our community so that we have our commuters that are able to get home much quicker and spend more time in our community. In doing that, we're also dealing with funding for them as well. One of the things as chair of the committee, I'm looking at RIF loans. We have about $35 billion in RIF loans that money just sits out there. Nobody applies for it because the process to get through the RIF process is so cumbersome. So we're streamlining that process and making sure that that is open to groups like ACE where they are efficiently run, they have assets, they can securitize that loan, and they should be able to get that government low interest, very low interest rate. I'm currently working on the rail reauthorization bill, which means that Amtrak, we need to put on a stable footing. It continues to take a huge government subsidy because of the long haul routes, some of those long distance routes right here in California. So we're working to not only make them more efficient, but actually having revenue that actually goes back into their infrastructure. And then, obviously with the highway bill coming up again, the overall transportation bill, we have a huge funding gap. Our gas tax dollars do not completely fund a 5-year bill. They only just barely over 2 years worth of funding. So we're looking other funding opportunities where we can come together between parties, between houses to actually have a full funding for a 5-year bill. One of the things that I am proposing is an infrastructure bank, utilizing repatriation dollars, repatriating the dollars that we can collect taxes on that are overseas, bring them back, put them in a bank. It's $50 billion up front that will expand under our process to $750 billion that can actually get projects moving immediately in our community as well as across the nation. And I know I don't want to take up too much of your time. I am happy to answer questions that you might have for me, but the last issue I wanted to touch on before I close is water. Now, we have some big needs in our community. Transportation needs, infrastructure needs, but unless we get water, you know how it'll affect our entire valley economy. We did pass a bill out of the House, and I understand that there are some that don't agree with everything in there. The governor originally opposed it, our 2 senators originally opposed it. At our hearing today down in Fresno, my question back to the agencies and to the governor is, what do you like in the bill? We can talk about all the things that we don't like, but it is important to us whether you're Republican or Democrat in the House or the Senate or in governor or president, you have to show what you're for. And there are a number of projects in there that will help out our community. New Melones could currently hold, without any more dollars, any taxpayer dollars, could currently hold another 100,000 acre-feet of water. Those are simple solutions. We need to be able to use to the max capacity of each of the storage units that we have today. Then we need to look at longer term over the next several years at Shasta, an additional 5 to 7 million acre-feet, Bryant, Los Vaqueros, and then sites offstream storage off the Sacramento River. We have opportunities around the state, but it's going to take some strong leadership in our community as well as across the state and across the nation to actually get these projects built. So I'm looking forward to working with our 2 senators, Feinstein and Boxer, to come up with legislation for our short-term emergency impacts, but actually working with the governor as well on a long-term, huge storage that we need. We need at least 5 million. We're hoping for 10 million acre-feet that will actually have us be able to have that, not only 2.5 million acre-feet that the Central Valley needs, but that long-term certainty for our population sustainability. So thank you for giving me a few minutes to interrupt your meeting today and just spend a little bit of time talking about what's happening in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, if I just have a comment, normally this time of year, our water situation is we're watching the rivers and watching Modesto Creek. So I know on behalf of Supervisor DeMarquis and City of Newman specifically, we appreciate your continued support on the Modesto Creek project and the Corps of Engineers. I know that Denham's going to be in D.C. next week. I don't know when the stops is that over. So it's typical in this dry year. Normally we're watching the creek with those banks and let us see as it flies. So I just have to.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me. I enjoy working with every one of you.